Good evening, everyone. If you're joining us live, it's a delight to have you joining us. Scott Stoll with the Plantrician Project, and my guest this evening, Deepa Deshmukh, my good friend. But before we jump in, I just want to welcome you and really appreciate you for being a part of the Plantrician Project. At no time in history is it more important that we coalesce as a group with one voice to really highlight the importance of transforming and taking back the plate and helping people understand that their health is just one bite away. I just say that because I was just finished a health immersion for Whole Foods last week. And I've done 16 years of health immersions, 2 to 3 per year. And every time I am amazed at how quickly the body responds when we give it the right opportunity. We had several people there, one with active rheumatoid arthritis, and by day 3, all of her synovitis pain had resolved. Someone with severe fatigue due to multiple sclerosis, all of her fatigue had resolved by day 3. People off diabetes medications, hypertension, but even more, they were describing mental clarity, energy, and vitality they hadn't felt since they were 18. Now, this is not anything unique, trademarked, specially designed, some unique supplement that we've discovered in the Amazon. This is just a plate of food 3 times per day. And so I am so passionate about this topic, as is Deepa. And we want you to join us as well at the conference this year, the Power of the Plate, May 14th through May 17th, San Diego, California. It's not just the education. This is about community. That's something that Deepa and I are going to be talking about shortly. But actually coming together to learn, to share, to sit together around a beautiful table, enjoying a meal, having a conversation. There's a synergy that happens. There's a sharing of ideas that magnifies and expands our concepts that you can't get just watching CME on the Zoom or on your computer. So I would really encourage you to join us this year. We have a new concept. We're opening the aperture to take in 6 new pillars, all connected to that choice that we put on the plate, all related to human health, but also expanding that when we're healthy, making the right choice, the planet is healthy as well. So please join us. There's more information on the Power of the Plate in the chat. Jill has put it there, and the plantricionproject.org. Now, it's my sincere honor to welcome and introduce a dear friend of mine. Deepa, it's great to have you. I just want to read an introduction that I wrote for you. You know, it's for all of you that don't know, it's my profound honor to welcome our next guest to the stage that we're hosting these monthly webinars. Deepa is a visionary practitioner who understands the healing begins with honoring the heart first, honoring other people, and then transforming your plate. Deepa is a registered dietitian, certified diabetes care education specialist, who's worked very closely with local communities in the field of clinical nutrition. She has a master's degree in public health and has spent a career at the forefront of lifestyle medicine, really at the interface of working with people to help them transform their lives one bite at a time. Deepa has also been a leading voice in the movement. She's spoken several times at our conferences and has received rave reviews. What truly distinguishes Deepa in my mind is that her work is not just clinical expertise, but she has radical empathy. She cares at the deepest level for people, and that leads her to find solutions that others might not see. Deepa meets individuals exactly where they are, communities exactly where they are. And with her compassionate hand and creative mind, she helps people overcome their challenges. And I think I also want to mention Deepa is a master of cultural synthesis. She is able to recognize those culturally important and culturally valuable aspects of food and synthesize those into a lifestyle that is sustainable for individuals and for communities. So whether Deepa is consulting for Fortune 500 companies, speaking at our conference, caring for individuals in under-resourced communities, Deepa brings rare warmth, as you'll see in a minute, deep commitment, and a heart to everything that she does. So Deepa, please welcome. I'm delighted to have you here, and thanks for spending the evening with us.
Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Scott. First of all, I wouldn't have been here if I had not with somehow had encountered the Plantrician conference email. Somehow it ended up in my inbox, God knows, 10 years ago, and I found my community. Until then I felt like, oh my God, what I was doing, is it right or wrong? And when I came to that first Plantrician conference, I sat all the way in the back. I did not know anyone. I did not know what this conference was going to be about. I thought, oh, it's going to be like, the typical medical conferences, little, very clinical, very, the pharmaceuticals and the booths and things like that. But it wasn't, nothing like that. And from that day onwards, I just stayed in your under your wings, and here I am today. So I'm extremely grateful to Plantrician Project, the team, Jill, Tom, Andrea, for nurturing me over the years. And yes, the lifestyle medicine space uh, cannot be just you cannot practice lifestyle medicine without really understanding people, because it gets to the very core of who we are. I mean, if we just decide to dissect the six pillars that we talk about, which is sleep, which is related to your human body, stress, mind, movement, and the need for us as belonging to a tribe, that these are all very intrinsic factors. And in lifestyle medicine, when we are working with people, what we have to unleash, as I call it, is their own potential, by giving them the right tools. uh, I was just talking to a patient literally half an hour ago, and I said to her, see, you go to the pharmacy and get a medication prescription. But I'm telling you that you are born with the pharmacy. Okay, the food that I'm going to ask you to eat, that is just unlocking your own potential. So we have to lead with that kind of mentality. Uh, just to give you a little bit of background as to how I ended up in this space to start with, I came
I'd
to
love to know
US.
that story.
Yeah, I came to US in 1993. I landed in Boston in the worst winter of the century. Didn't know anyone, didn't know what to do with myself.
Was that your
And
first snowstorm?
oh yes, I ended up in in first week of October, I think. And it was really the worst winter in 100 years. And I didn't know the language. I didn't know food. I didn't know people. I didn't have family. There was no internet, nothing. And I was newly married. Um, in an arranged marriage, by the way. So it's not like I knew my husband too well either. So as I was going through that, one day I ended up at a grocery store. It was called as Bread and Circus in Boston, which later on became Whole Foods.
Oh, interesting.
And the back wall of that store, they had those bulk spice bottles. And uh, until then, like first 3 4 months, I would just go to the regular grocery stores and was mesmerized by, oh my God, these breakfast food aisles. Who eat this food? What is this breakfast aisle? It was like a museum type of. I was amused by the shiny look of packages and the cereals and amount of milk that is being sold. I thought, oh my God, this country got it. Okay. And I used to tell my mom, oh my God, mom, there's just so much food, and you don't have to wash half of the things. They are already pre-washed, and everything is in the box. Everything is so clean. I was really got attracted to it.
Yeah, it's very
And
enamoring.
very it looks very attractive. Appetizing, I don't know, because none of that had flavor. So that's where I kind of, I was disappointed. The first time I saw mac and cheese, I said, "Oh my God, who eats this macaroni and cheese? Who is buying these hundreds and thousands of packets every day from these stores? No flavor, nothing." And I was going through this, and I was seeing that the lack of just access to flavorful ingredients, forget about the food, ingredients, was really getting on to me. So when I ended up at that bread and circus store, the back end of it, saw this wall of spices, and as I went into that area, the fragrance of spices, it brought tears to my eyes. I had never thought that that I was what I was missing was really the aroma of spices, you know. And even though at that time garam masala and turmeric, they were like 3.99 a pound, I would just bring home like a teaspoon of it, because of my tight budget thingies. So that experience stayed with me. And then later on, I started volunteering at Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, Harvard affiliated hospital, Indian Nutrition Department. And that was my first insight into the healthcare side of things, and more so in about nutrition. And I saw that patients were getting burgers and fries and jello, cans of Ensure, and I didn't know what was about it, but I just felt in my gut there was something wrong about it. At that time, I didn't have the insight, I didn't have the knowledge, so to speak, but I had common sense, So it again, that seed got planted in me. 1 year fast forward, they asked me to do a presentation for the homeless shelter in that in across from the hospital. I went there, and I saw, even in that homeless shelter, the menu has not changed. There was jello, there was canned chicken soup, there were hamburgers, there were fries, um, cans of Ensure as well, and that bothered me. I said, well, it's the same food no matter where I go, right? And again, it stuck to me. Fast forward few years, I said, you know what, I need to go back to school because maybe I don't know what nutrition is. So I
Very humble move.
very humble, you know, I said, uh, let me go back, and US knows what they are doing. What I learned in nutrition in India is nothing. I learned everything about deficiencies and people malnutrition and this and that, but here people, they are on top of things. I should go back to school. I went back to school during rotation, similar experience. Every time, that each experience just stayed in my heart. I was absorbing, I was like a little sponge, just absorbing things, not as verbal. I didn't know how to speak English, by the way. Whole day I would watch Yan Can Cook cooking shows on PBS, and I was fascinated by cooking shows. Um, and then I started working as an inpatient dietitian. Mind you, that was 2004 or 5, 10 years later, after my first encounter with in the hospital. Same menu. I said, oh my
And
God.
probably the same menu today.
Same menu today too. Yeah, you are right. Same menu today. And I said, oh, what's going on here? Then within 3 weeks, I said to my manager, please move me into the outpatient. She moved me into the outpatient. I got really good clinical training from the other diabetes care education specialist. However, the every day the pharmaceutical companies, they were dropping off sandwiches and other stuff, and
I
I said, oh,
remember. Yeah, the free lunches.
right, exactly. And I said, oh, this is not right either. So I said, I cannot work in this environment. So I felt maybe in schools, I didn't receive enough knowledge. Maybe I need to get more credentials. So I went after the bunch of ABCD that people see after my name, is all with the quest of behind, what am I missing? What am I missing? Why it's not making sense to me? Why it's not resonating with me? That thought just kept bugging me. So I basically started practicing on my own, and as I was talking to patients, I could see the signs and symptoms that I was seeing, I was listening. They were no different than people uh, in India at that time were complaining because of malnutrition. And that was a lightning moment for me.
Hmm.
I said, everybody is eating, but nobody is nourishing.
Yeah, that's really good, Deepa.
So there is a difference between eating and nourishing. And so why are they not nourishing? So I started chasing that thought, and for 2 months I literally stopped doing everything. I went back to the basic pathophysiology of the disease conditions. Which cells are involved, which systems are involved, what's the use of magnesium and calcium. And at that time I didn't even know the word micronutrients and all that. We had The emphasis has always been on macronutrients, so the protein, the fats, the calories, right? What's the interplay between these vitamins, minerals, all that stuff? Once I understood the pathophysiology, I knew that it has to do with gut health and the fiber. Even though I had not made that connection very strong, but I knew that that's what needed to happen. And I just started talking to people about eating more fiber. you know the second part of that uh, experience was, very quickly I realized, like one day I caught myself actually in the conversation. I realized that there is a patient with different ethnicity sitting in front of me, and I am telling him to eat something that had, let's say, a curry powder in it. Complete mismatch of his cultural preferences with what I'm telling. And I said to myself in my mind, oh my God, that person is not going to eat it. He doesn't know what curry, because he just told me what curry is, and I'm telling him, oh, how good it is, and blah blah blah. So that point I realized that I have to make the this experience of seeing dietitian culturally
Hmm.
very culturally tailored,
Right.
because I could see the blank stares in their eyes.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think back in my own life, and I had no idea what a curry was, even
correct.
in college. Uh,
Yes,
so yeah, and to think about making a curry when you don't understand what's in it um,
correct.
makes it that much more difficult to create a lifestyle change. It's one more
Yeah,
barrier, isn't it?
absolutely. And then for our listeners, it's extremely important. The first few minutes, when the patient, when the iron is hot, when they are coming to you for help, they are desperate. If we don't make that connection in first 5, 7, 10 minutes, either it's through food, either it's how you greet them, how you talk to them, how you address them. Once their ear is shut, it's done. You can sit there for 1 hour and nothing is going to go inside. So having that kind of empathy, almost like telepathy, hey, what is my patient thinking, is is something worth noticing.
And I think that's a really good point, and I want you to just tease that out a little bit because in healthcare, oftentimes we are on our schedule and we are thinking about what we need to deliver, tests we need to review, exams that we need to cover. And so it ends up being a one-way stream so that we can stay on schedule. But what you're saying, and I think it's really important, is to take a minute and to pause and empathize with that person. Why are they here? What are they feeling? What's the challenge? Are they afraid? And so maybe you can tease that out a little bit, how you take those first few minutes to empathize with them and make that connection, because I think that is essential when we're talking about integrating a lifestyle change into somebody's life that's sustainable.
Correct. First of all, we have to, when the patient walks into the room, there has to be something that makes him feel that this is a place where humans live. Okay, that could means that you have some prompts about food, cultural foods. Okay, you keep some simple prompts like put some fruits and vegetables up there. Maybe have a book up there, because by the time the patient is walked into the room and the provider comes in, there is a lag of 5-7 minutes. They need to see, just like kids in the toy in the toy room. When they walk into that room, there's nobody there. They have time to look around. Okay, and they need to see real food or whatever if you're into exercise, they need to see something about exercise, not the charts but very hands-on stuff.
Mm,
Okay, and as you come in, if you see them that they are looking at something or standing and doing something, that's your point. You say, hey, do you like sweet potatoes? Or or oh, I see that. Or as you start asking their name or what have you, you can say, oh, the last name sounds, are you from India, are you from Middle East? I was there, I was this, that. You start one sentence, two sentences, where they
building
have,
bridges. Yeah.
and for us, we have to break the ice through through food. Right.
Yeah,
um,
that's right.
I had also done experiments where I would have my water bottle, and as I come in, I'd take a sip of water and I say, "Oh my God, I've been so thirsty. Do you carry your own? Do you carry your water bottle? Do you want to drink water?" You know, uh, and that starts the conversation before we go in. And as I say, I have to crash their party, so at least.
You need to know you're on their side before you crash the party, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So before I crash their party, I have to make sure that I do it in a very gentle manner. So that's how you do it, and sometime addressing them. If you know the patient and you know how to address, if you know the language, I started picking up simple words from patients, from my interpreters. And I started greeting people with that. Lead with something that
Right.
shows that you are human and you are dealing with the same problems that they are.
That's beautiful advice. That's a gold nugget to take away from this evening. Thank you, because sometimes we forget. I mean, that seems like common sense, but in the busyness of a day and falling behind and all the pressures of a healthcare professional, we forget that sometimes we just need to connect. Human to
And
human, heart to heart.
human to human, heart to heart. And you would be surprised as what you say in those first two sentences, it stays with them. And those are the most important things. And they go home with that, and they start changing. So
Yeah.
the first 5 minutes of encounter is extremely important.
And really sets up the dissemination of information that's going to follow around lifestyle. And
For
then
sure.
how did you take that same kind of process and empathy into the communities? Because you do a lot of community work in Chicago.
Correct. So I started in private practice, and around the same time, there was an opportunity opened up at a local FQSC, federally qualified healthcare facility, and I started working there. And uh, I realized I was the only dietitian, diabetes care specialist for 25 providers, and so many diabetic patients, and I would get only 15 minutes. And I realized that that just wasn't enough. 15 minutes to change somebody's uh, behavior, almost reduce their A1C. I needed more time with patients, even though because I led with empathy and the connections, I was able, I kind of developed that skill set to quickly deliver the message in more like show and tell manner, as I call it. Instead of talking about, oh, fiber in this food, da 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 da, I had so many product packages and these food replicas and things to show that it was easy for me to do a little demo right then and there.
That's
because
great.
because in 15 minutes you have to be very efficient. You are looking at their clinical side, so pathophysiology, combining with culinary medicine or lifestyle medicine. And then one day I said, you know what, this model needs to be changed. And I worked with we had a grant writer, phenomenal grant writer, and I said to her, I need kitchen. I think we should start developing kitchen based programming. And that was 2012, but we managed to get a grant. uh, and and that opened up, kind of, my creative brain started working aggressively, and that led to creating programs where we involve farmer. And then, once you get in that lane, you start noticing things.
Absolutely right.
That's how it happens. I mean, that's my answer to you. I don't know, it wasn't purposeful. It's not like, but it just one thing leads to the other, and the same thing has happened in your career as well.
Yeah, that's right. And it's the curiosity with intention to help people. And you find
Correct.
yourself working with a community and you realize that they have needs that you can't meet. And it leads to the innovation, right? That's necessary because it's coming from a place of desiring to help. And so I love that it's, I see you're driven by solving problems because you care.
Correct. You have to be in this field. We have to be driven by solving problems, Scott. That is so important. That is such a beautiful sentence, because we are solving problems. Because our communities have barriers. There is knowledge barrier, there is institutional barrier, there are environmental barriers. So we as providers have to identify the barriers and be creative with what to do. So that curiosity really, and another thing is, I'm not afraid.
I do know that, Deepa.
I'm not
I
afraid.
love it.
What's the worst case scenario? I don't know. So far so good. But and actually it's quite interesting as my how much I have learned from working in this population. No school, all these credentials, everything that I have done is on one side. And just working in the community, being, as I say, I play in the dirt, has taught me so much that can never be achieved with any other degree or any other experience. But you
Yeah.
have to have your senses open.
Yeah, because you're dealing with real world challenges that people are facing every day. And there aren't easy solutions. It's not, can't always just pull something from the hat to solve it. Some of them are very difficult. And you don't know about them until you encounter them. And then you realize, there's no toolbox over here that I can grab a tool to fix it. It just doesn't, it hasn't been developed yet.
That is
You've done a
correct.
beautiful job of developing those tools and creating culturally relevant solutions that honor people, honor their culture, and make them feel comfortable and empowered to make a lifestyle change. That you've created those tools over the last 20 plus years of working, and I know what you've done, and I respect and honor what you've done because it's remarkable.
No, no, thank you. I'm just quickly going to show you a few slides to just walk the uh, viewers with us. I was talking about what we have. If you're working in the community, you have to look
And
beyond clinical walls.
Deepa, if you want to just do slideshow,
Oh,
it
sure.
it
Yeah.
will enlarge on our screen and make it a little
Okay.
easier for us.
Sorry. How about now?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So if you are working with the community, we have to have that curiosity to look beyond the clinical walls. That there is no other way out of it. And like I said, there are all these barriers that you have to encounter and almost process as an individual. Okay, yeah, I realized very quickly I cannot ask people to go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's in the communities I was working. We were dealing with um, real problems with access to just simple food. Forget about the from health food store. So challenges of the population: shift work, child care, elder care, food insecurities. But as you absorb these problems, you become creative. I always, before I created a handout, a recipe, a intervention, I asked myself, if I was living in this little town without a car, with a single mom, I have 3 kids to take care of, a sick parent at home, do you think I will have time to make a sushi bowl? No.
No.
So that how deep you have to go, and you really have to put yourself in their shoes and say, okay, then what should I do with the similar ingredients? Start small, move fast, like my mentor Fred says. This is how my office started looking. There was something for everyone. uh, uh, Food replicas, empty bags of beans, lentils, and sometimes full bags of beans and lentils. And I would just give those things away.
I wonder what the cleaning staff thought as they entered your office every night, right?
Actually, the cleaning, see what happens is, this is another beauty of working in community. People just learn by observing things. My cleaning staff got good at it. They started bringing empty boxes of things that they thought were compliant with my thing. People started just eating better just by around us, and it's contagious. This is how our community kitchen looked. I had trained a pharmacist to help me out, a nurse, and as you can see, this is a multi-generational household. So I had to be very attentive about that. That coming up with ideas, interventions that will resonate with people of all life stages. My dear farmer, he started growing he little more exotic fruits and vegetables, rather than just growing the salads, I mean the lettuces and tomatoes. We got into eggplants and okra and methi and amaranth and all kinds of fun stuff. And we did a large amount of food. You talk about power of food, Dr. Scott. Here it is, all the spices, beans, lentils, grains, and vegetables. I mean, that's where we are. So we didn't use any fancy equipment in front of our patients, because I was very sensitive about the things that they had at home. And uh, again, this is a beautiful picture of you can see people of different generations. And now some of these small kids and their moms, now they have all grown up in 20 years. And sometime I meet them at a grocery store and they say, Deepa, we are still eating purple cabbage because it's good for brain. So
I love it.
it just makes you very happy. Um, you have to be very mindful about the meaningful giveaways. Give something that is meaningful. One image that is not here is aprons. The power of apron is tremendous. I told people, in order for you to get into the mood to cook after a long day, just go home and wear that apron. That's like you are getting ready. As when we go out to get for work, we wear different clothes. When you are going for exercise, you wear different clothes. When you sleep, you wear different clothes. So power of apron is very powerful. So these small things, Scott, nothing that I did was extravagant, but really understanding where people are, what they need, what resonates with them, uh, made the big difference.
And you've created a vast library of resources, I know, over the years that are
Yeah.
incredibly, yeah, here are a few examples, right? Gosh.
Few examples, and one thing I wanted to tell you: power of collaboration. Everyone, please collaborate with organizations. I cannot tell you. Find a like-minded organization. It could be a foundation. It can be a faith-based organization. It can be a organization like Plantrician. A food pantry. PBNM does a fantastic job. So just go out and start looking. These are some of the dishes that we made last year. We had in this veggie fest, we had these few vendors who started serving whole food, plant-based, no oil food. That was a big win. Here
I think you
again.
stopped sharing, Deepa. So if you have another slide.
Oh, I stopped sharing.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why, because it kept going. All right,
The share button at the bottom.
sure. Okay, now.
There you go. It's nice to see the communities you're working in.
Yes, community. This is, cooking classes at the local food pantry, had a community garden. So there, believe it or not, hair barbers and hairdressers are wonderful people to work with. Who knew? But I made collaboration with Melanie Day. She has a hair salon, and since then we have been working with a African American women population, and she talks about health and nutrition and its role in hair and nail, and we do a small programming for them. Uh, so obviously never underestimate the ability of small group of dedicated people to change the world, right? Because it is the only thing that ever has helped. So the power of community cannot be underestimated. Let the AI come, smartphone come, this come, that come. We cannot replace humans.
That's right. You can't replace that power of a community, that support and empathy and connection that you cannot find anywhere else.
Correct, correct. So let's see. This is, every year my farmer presents me with a bouquet of chili at the end of the
Great.
our farmers market, and I have kept in touch with him over the years, and it makes me very happy. What can I say?
Yeah, the relationships bring so much joy and meaning to life, don't they?
Correct. Oh, absolutely. There is just no replacement for it. I have come to value it every single minute of my life, if you will.
Yeah, that's really inspiring.
So, Scott, you want to talk about the dietary guidelines? And this is just a
Yes, I
slide on
see the
how.
dietary guidelines here. And for any of you that have questions, the Q&A bubble at the bottom, you can open that, type a question for Deepa and I as we briefly dive into the dietary guidelines. We could talk a long time about these, but I think the solution is fairly simple. So yeah, please share your slide, Deepa.
Yeah, so are you seeing this global food-based dietary guidelines slide, right?
Yeah.
So I just decided to have a fun with this topic with the dietary guidelines. These are just some of the examples of the dietary guidelines from around the globe. Okay, see how comprehensive they are, and they take into account a lot of things, right? Um, and Scott, I saw your YouTube video on dietary guidelines, and one thing that you said is it's not like we were on the right track with the first pyramid, you know, because because if the first pyramid was working, we wouldn't be here today.
That's right.
And I had similar thought, and I'm like, it doesn't matter if the pyramid is sideways, upside down, black and white, colorful. The reality is that we need fiber and we need unprocessed food. And fortunately or unfortunately, the fiber comes from plants, and that's it.
And that's it. And that is not currently the foundation of our pyramid, right?
That is
Our
not
diets
founded.
in America.
Yeah. So I had created my own pyramids many years ago. Okay. And as you can see, the basis is vegetables, herbs and spices, lots of fruits. Then it gets into different kind of root vegetables, different grains, beans, lentil, peas, avocado. And it starts to get narrower. It is based on the calorie density of the food concept. But this is the pyramid I use.
Mm,
Okay.
that's
And
beautiful.
yeah, and it is culturally relevant. We have some Asian, Spanish food, Native American, African American, Indian, and there is also American one with which is a mix of all these things. And very recently, I created the GLP-1 friendly pyramid because
Oh, do you have that? I'd love to see it.
yeah,
Oh,
do you see
here.
it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So the bottom is, the strength training and the weight training here, and then it just gets into the uh, the nitty gritty of different food groups. With GLP-1, we must acknowledge that every bite of food that these people are eating has to be nutrient dense. Uh, bec, bec,
Yes.
you know, any comments, Scott?
No, I completely agree. I mean, they're eating reduced calorie total consumption. And so, yeah, whether it's bypass surgery, GLP-1s, nutrient density, takes absolute preeminence when you start reducing total calorie intake.
Correct. So this is the recent one, and talking about GLP-1, I just wanted to bring this topic to this presentation because now the GLP-1 has trickled into the communities that we will be working on. It is not an exclusive medication anymore. It's trickling down. And this is a brand new paper, and the headline was Experts Sound Alarm Over Nutritional Gaps in People Taking Ozempic and Wegovy.
Mm.
And the take home message from this Dr. Adrian Brown from the Center of Obesity Research at UCL was that all this is good, people are losing weight, everything is fine. However, without appropriate nutritional guidance and support from healthcare professional, there is a real risk that reduced food intake could compromise dietary quality, meaning people may not get enough protein, fiber, vitamin, and minerals essential for maintaining overall health. So I don't know how much louder this message can get.
Right. And most people are not going to be on GLP-1s the rest of their life, and they simply go back to what they were eating before. There's no foundation. And
Correct.
a large review in BMJ that just came out this week that showed upon discontinuation of GLP-1s, people begin gaining 0.9 pounds per month following that discontinuation cycle. So
Correct.
in every way, it's important to have that foundation. We
Ye-
have a question here from Elizabeth. What do you think of the Maha food pyramid, Deepa?
Well, like I said, we can talk about what Maha food pyramid is. The reality is that the more plants we have on the plate, the better it's going to be.
That's right.
So I don't want to say it's good, bad, ugly, but our job is to educate people about where the nutrients are coming from. And like I said, they come from the power of plate lies in plants.
Exactly. That's right.
Uh,
Better.
so with the GLP-1 in mind, I wanted to show you something. Because 2 years ago, when GLP-1 started, and actually last 10 years, I have been looking to make the community-based nutrition more accessible and scalable. So in last 2 years, I have been working with I have a collaboration with a tech company, and we have created this platform called Core, and it is an all-in-one lifestyle medicine prescription, GLP-1 tracking, and patient engagement platform. Because I knew that the GLP-1 are going to be good, but they are going to have but that medication needs to sit on top of lifestyle medicine. So I was thinking about it, and the technology has made it possible. So I'm very thankful to Pronex for collaborating with me. And this platform has all the functionalities of EMR, EHR, but just wait for a minute, and just I'm going to show you some really interesting things. So it has all the account management functionalities. You can make the appointments, telehealth, communication capabilities, billing and payment, all that. You can build programs, courses, you can have, customized templates, visit notes, intake forms, and then you can have add-ons like, AI charting assistant. And we recently added or we are going to working on adding conversational intake forms to add that little more human touch. So it has e-prescribe, e-lab, all that. But most importantly, this platform allows the providers to prescribe 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine based on the assessment that they do. It allows them to prescribe food as prescription. There is a recipe agent in there. There is a picture-based meal log, meal pattern tracking, and most importantly, that quality of life symptom tracking. That is missed.
Yeah, that is really critical. And I just want to, I'm aware of what you're doing. And I just want to make sure that people really understand everything that you just rolled through because it's important. This is a freestanding EHR that can be integrated with all the other current EHRs if need be. But what you've created that is so unique is the Lifestyle Medicine RX. And it's not just a prescribing of the 6 pillars, correct? I think you're going to walk us through the level of detail I know that you've created in here is beyond anything that I personally know that's available on the market today. So yeah, walk us through this and help everyone to see, because I just think what you've created is fantastic, and it is what most prescribers actually need to assist their patients in making a lifestyle change when we only have 10 to 15 minutes to begin that process.
Correct, exactly. So, let's say, let me walk through. You are in here with the patient, and you are in the visit note, as you can see on the right hand side here. And right from here, you can look at the lifestyle assessment, intake, their food log, and then you can start prescribing each pillar in form of smart action. if somebody needs a in-depth demo, just reach out to me and I will do it. But because of the lack of time today, I'm just going to give you an overview, because what I want to show you is the GLP-1 tracking along with some of the unique features. But basically, this is a lifestyle medicine prescription platform with recipe agent and very easy access to delivering education, all that good stuff. But now the main important thing, GLP support and tracking. Okay, so uh, by the way, the meal log of the patient allows us to follow what's on their plate, Scott, right? The meal, the food group pattern or the meal pattern, that's what we are focusing on. So here it is. So the GLP-1 tracking of the medication, we have a patient portal and provider portal to do so. So from the patient side, they get to this screen and they can click on manage anti-obesity medication. Here, they can log their different medications by adding the medication to this portal first. And uh, once they start logging, or once they add the medication, they can see the report of which medication, how much was the usage, and why they skipped the medication, so on and so forth. And most importantly here, the symptoms. If they have a symptom, they can add it here and they can send the report to the provider. Okay, this on a day-to-day or week-to-week reporting of the symptoms will help the providers to deploy the help that is needed, because now we know that a lot of people are coming down with adverse symptoms, so they don't have to worry about, they don't have to wait, they can, this is the engagement part with the patient. This is where you get to see, I showed you the meal log that patient has to, just taking the picture and identifying the food group is going to help the providers to see, hey, nutritionally are they doing what they are supposed to be doing. So and then on the provider side, this is what the provider sees, the compliance, what medication they were on, the
Hmm.
metrics, the adverse reactions, the weight loss graph. This is what provider sees. Okay,
It
and
helps to create bidirectional communication
yeah,
between visits where normally it's a black hole and we're really dependent upon the patient's recall.
absolutely. And right from this screen, you can click on their food log to see what they have been eating. You can, if you want to send them a handout, you can click on the education tab and the handout will get sent out. You can prescribe a lifestyle prescription per pillar. You can do food prescription, recipe, I mean, everything that you need to combine the GLP-1s backed or fueled by lifestyle medicine is in this platform. Yeah, so Scott, that's all I have to say.
Well, you've said quite a bit, Deepa. Thank you.
No
Really
problem.
amazing presentation. And I just want to go back a little bit on the Pronex, because what you've developed with the two-way kind of bidirectional ongoing communication. And I don't think that you went to the depth of
No.
level of information that is available for actually prescribing and assisting patients. So maybe just tease that out a little bit, because, when I started my practice, I was developing everything from scratch. I mean, I started using my prescription pad to write recipes and I was handing that out. And
I have it.
yeah, and so, I think that, what you've developed makes it much easier for somebody to not only prescribe, it's not just prescribing a piece of information, right?
Mm.
You're actually prescribing a tool. So maybe take a couple of minutes and just help people understand that level.
Correct. So based on the experience, I realized that just telling patients, just giving them information, a handout, a brochure was not helping make the actual change. So I took a moment and I said, okay, healthcare providers, doctors are trained to prescribe something. Whether they believe it or not, the doctor will easily write prescription for medication. So they have that's how the brain works. And then on the patient side, patients take their prescription a little more seriously than me just giving out a handout.
Right.
So I kind of wanted to blend that. So now, and you know what, I can do much more. If somebody is interested, they can just call us and I can do a demo. So on the provider side, it allows me to open the, hey, sleep prescription, right? And allows me what I call as prescribe a smart action. So for example, if we identified the patient doesn't sleep on time. So instead of saying, oh, you need to get sleep and sleep 7 to 10 hours and this and that, and once you get into their lifestyle assessment, you understand why they are sleeping at 3 o'clock at night. So you identify the smart actions to take before that. Okay, so the smart action could be that I am going to disconnect the phone and leave it downstairs. Or I'm going to read 5 pages of book before before going on Facebook. Or I'm going to brush my teeth and just come and get in my bed. Whatever that smart action is, a micro action brings macro results. That's what I have seen. Instead of saying, oh, you need to eat more protein and plant
Right.
protein, if I say the first step is make a grocery list and put a bag of or can of bean on it to buy. So kind of drilling the things down so that we have a chain of reaction that we can facilitate before voila happens.
Right.
And this prescription style allows us to do that. So it's digestible for the provider to say something, and it is also acceptable on the patient side to follow through.
Right. And these are the same systems that you've used in every cultural situation and every type of community, including the under-resourced and at-risk community.
Yeah.
We have an attendee that asked, how long has the platform been in use?
We launched it a month ago, but I have been using it for last 6 months. We have a gastric bypass surgeon who is getting into lifestyle medicine. She's been using it for 4 years, Dr. Chu. And we have a nurse practitioner. So we have some beta people using it for last, I would say, 4 months or so. But I have been the longest in last 6 months.
And the actual Pronex Foundation has been there for
Oh, they have been around for last almost 18 to 20 years.
Right. So Pronex has been in this space, the EHR space, a very long time.
Correct.
With fairly deep penetration in different markets.
Different markets.
It's brought you along.
Correct.
And are creating this for lifestyle medicine.
That is true.
And Elizabeth asked, can this be used on any healthcare system's EHR? And is there a fee to borrow this from you and adapt it into the system's EHR? So that would be, I guess.
Yeah, it all really depends on how flexible your organization is to integrate something like this. So it is what I have learned is with technology, everything is possible. So yes, the short answer is yes, but then we will have to work with your IT team or your organization and see how it's going to get done. But yes,
right, and it can roll out hospitals, healthcare clinics.
Correct.
Community-based clinics, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, next question. I guess it's also a question about can it grow with a healthcare system and bridge gaps between clinical and social models for the vulnerable populations?
Yes, in fact, it is designed for people who are growing their practice, who are, you know, mm, who are in the community setting, because this is not only appropriate for physicians, dietitians, but also health coaches. And there are organizations, for example, PBNM, Scott, you know Meryl Fury. She works with sickle cell population, and they are going to use it for education as it relates to sickle cell anemia and that patient population. So there is a flexibility to either use EMR, which is with lifestyle medicine, or just use the lifestyle medicine portion. I have intentionally created these two different versions because I knew not everybody needs EMR and uh, lifestyle medicine.
Right. And the material is really birthed out of your experience and all of the resources that you've created across all of these spectrums of culture and community.
Absolutely. And also using different systems. I mean, I have been through so many different EMRs, big, large, all that. And
I remember those onboarding days. Yeah.
ex- exactly. But nothing out there satisfy the need of a lifestyle medicine practitioner. And until we have a tool which can be, which can deliver, which will allow us to prescribe lifestyle medicine, track it, and now the nuances of GLP-1, we just don't see the effect. Community, I mean, like a public health.
Yeah, so Holly has a good question for us. She says, the issue I come across the most is people that want to make a change from a processed standard American diet to a whole food plant-based diet are completely overwhelmed with a recipe that has more than 4 ingredients or more, cooking, prep, etc. Any tips you have would be appreciated.
Then you have to take just one component and see, for example, if they are a mashed potato and steak eating person, we can start by saying, you know what, instead of mashed potatoes with butter and milk, can you replace that with baked potato? Just start moving one part of their plate, or ask them, instead of steak, would you mind if I show you how to make bean based soup? Ask your people to use frozen fruits and vegetables, please. Don't make them intimidated that they have to eat everything fresh and chop everything. Frozen vegetables have come a long way. Even dollar store has frozen vegetables now. So uh, that's one way to reduce their decision fatigue, as I call it.
Yeah, that's great, Deepa. We have a number of people that are asking, well, first, do you work with neurologists, so neurology practices?
Yes.
Yeah, and we have several people saying, how can they book a conversation and demo with you and the team?
Okay, so uh, there is I think Jill is putting the link in the chat about how to connect to us, but anybody can send me an email at deepa@dupagedietitians.com, or just Google my name, it will show up, or we can, it's very easy to reach out to me.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Um, Donna says, thank you so much. I learned over the past few years how critical it is to have an excited and engaged client. The process of radical empathy and drawing them in with simple, tangible things and the chain reaction of smart actions are priceless concept. Thank you again, Deepa and Scott. So thank you, Donna, for joining us. We're delighted that you were here. And that's the power of community. We learn from each other. And if we're not
Yes, of course.
connecting, we don't learn these things.
Can I just show you one? Can I just show
Yeah.
one thing which is extremely important for these people, for our people to understand? It's all about weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, right? And people uh, sometime the doctor tells them, oh, go home and lose 20 pounds, and they come home, they come back, and or even as a lifestyle practitioner, you tell them, yeah, we are working on weight loss, and they come back and they have made quite a bit change to their lifestyle, and they have seen only weight loss of, let's say, 1 to 2 pounds. you know they feel disappointed. Oh, I was hoping I lost these many pounds, whatever. The important thing is to keep these people motivated, right? Acknowledging those not so small wins, I call it. Don't look at it as you just made a small change. I say you have made a big change and you are getting a big result out of it.
Hmm.
So I call this my power of pound. Okay, so these are 4 sticks of butter. These are obviously a demo butter. And I tell them, even if, don't underestimate that 1 pound of weight loss. If it has done because you have made changes to your diet, and if I'm seeing it in your meal log pictures, you have lost 4 sticks of butter. And they just feel so relieved that, hey, 4 sticks of butter is a lot. So something simple, something visual that helps them celebrate their smart actions is
Hmm.
extremely important.
That's really valuable. Thank you for sharing that, Deep. I love the butter, cubes of butter. That's something that everybody can grab a hold of, right?
That's right. And you know what? Actually, these are made with what is it called? Candle wax. I have a friend who makes candles. She gave it to me as a gift.
That's great. I love it. Elizabeth asked, I'm assuming whole food plant-based diet and lifestyle help with concussion recovery?
Concussion recovery, yes, because there is at least we can reduce the inflammation. You
Right.
know,
And when we think about the pathophysiology of a concussion, and we
yeah.
understand plant-based diet is ramping up all of those valuable systems that are necessary from, autophagy, mitophagy to angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels, optimizing, recovery systems, down-regulating inflammatory systems. It is an essential tool in part of the process of recovering. There's a spectrum of things that can be useful, but diet is the foundation.
Yeah. And not to mention the depression and anxiety that usually follows with such accidents.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I'm just writing a note to Holly. She had said, thank you. Unfortunately, this is the question about people making small changes. They're even eating whole foods from an animal-based diet. They don't like to cook,
Hmm.
and they eat highly processed foods, fast food, takeout, grocery store, prep food. So it's a challenge. And she said baby steps with a smile.
Correct.
And I was just writing back to her, just lots of love, lots of patience. Keep
Yeah.
meeting them where they are, and they will
and
change.
and some identify maybe a food that they like, maybe a restaurant that they like to go to. I mean, even if somebody is eating at fast food, I tell them which fast food restaurants they can go
That's
to
right. That's
and
good.
what they can order you know
That's great. Cassie Tolman says, I'm a plant-based nutritionist and also find that weight loss is the focus for my clients. This can
Hmm.
be a slow change. What are some ways we can keep encouraging our clients to continue to make diet and lifestyle changes when weight loss isn't happening as quickly as they would like? That is a great, great question, Cassie.
That's, yeah. uh, and it's a loaded question, right? Because uh, in the first visit, as a practitioner, we have to let them kind of come to a conclusion that their weight issue is a uh, it's a symptom of this of the storm that is brewing underneath. Okay,
Right.
so in your assessment you have to be very cognizant about what other quality of life related symptoms they are having. How is your energy? How do you sleep? Do you have any kind of pain? Are you losing hair? Are you craving? You know, and ask them to focus on, hey, as you are making changes, your these symptoms are going to tell you where your weight loss is going to be. So we will start focusing on your energy, your inflammation. Even the word inflammation I don't use, but their symptoms. You have to get their symptoms out of them and then kind of walk them through that path versus just, oh, how much weight you have lost, how much weight you have gone, have gained.
Yeah,
So
that's right. And we had one of our other attendees, Catherine, chime in and say that she encourages people and explains the microbiome, how it's changing with the first week for the
correct.
better, and to be aware of general well-being improvements. That looking at
Correct.
the whole person and how you're feeling, and not just hyper-focused on weight. So yes, that's great. Thank you, Catherine. That was helpful.
Yeah.
Again, the power
And
of community is we're helping each other, right?
yeah, absolutely. Power of community. And one thing I wanted to mention during our presentation, as much as our patient needs community support, we as provider need community support with other professionals. This can be a very lonely place. If you are
Yes.
working in a hospital, you are the only one, and if you are working on your own, then you are only one. So that's why I like to come to conferences like Power of Plate, other conferences, just to hang around with people where I don't have to explain why I'm eating what I'm eating, or why I'm standing and just doing sit-ups while in the middle of in the elevator, you know.
It's the place where abnormal is normal, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
Um,
I want
I,
to
I
share this
wanted
with
to
you. Oh, go ahead.
respond to the question about the weight loss. See, once you show people the calorie density pyramid, and once they understand where the fat is, I tell, like Dr. McDougall, fat you eat is fat you wear. So my first lesson after showing them the calorie density pyramid is, hey, be a fat detective in your kitchen. Find out where it's coming from, fat and salt. And there is your answer. So if you're here to lose fat, does it make sense not to eat as much, maybe?
That's great, Deepa. I love the simplicity. That is great. Denise said, this was an amazing presentation. Deepa, you're an inspiration. I love your passion and your empathy. And yes, that is how to help people facilitate change. Community is essential. Thank you for your presentation. Cassie said, thank you for sharing, helping create community and collaboration. And Christine said, Deepa is a gem, such enthusiasm, empathy, and valuable insight. Thank you for this conversation.
No,
And
I thank you.
I thank you, Deepa. And just before I let you go, I'd like you just to share like one piece of wisdom that you would have for uh, currently practicing healthcare practitioners and people that are in training.
Uh, this is a marathon for a patient and for you. And you have to show up as a provider, and they will have to show up as a patient, and just lead with gratitude that in our journey as providers, somehow we found this calling, and make sure you are enjoying it. Because if you are just doing this out of guilt or whatever, this is, you are not going to last. This has to be a joyful activity, and find that joy somehow, just by surround yourself with
A desk of props.
Or talk to the Scott once in a while, or show up for the conferences. Find an activity that is joyous to your soul, because if we are not mentally, physically where we need to be, our work is not impactful.
That is
So
beautiful.
so finding joy is uh, is is extremely important.
I love that. Thank you, Deepa. That really distills it down to the base level, which is why we all started in this process anyway. We found joy in helping people, and
Correct.
rekindling that sense of joy helps us to find purpose and meaning in our daily work
Yeah.
and not go down the burnout road. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That is
And
beautiful.
another thing is also humor.
Humor, yes.
Gosh, I said to my patients, like, what are you afraid of? Death by broccoli? I mean, is it? What am I telling you to do? That you're, that is so, that you're sitting, that is so sad. It's not a sad news, really. So,
Make it
humor,
fun. Find
make it
joy and
fun,
make it fun.
make
Laugh
it
along the
fun,
way.
joy. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Deepa. This has been an inspiring, warm, kind, and wise conversation. I think I walked away with a number of things from you. Thank you for those gifts, and I know that our attendees are very grateful as I see hearts and
Oh my God.
notes in the chat. So thank you.
No, thank you so
All a
much,
great
Scott.
service. Thank you. And again, if you're interested in booking a time with Deepa and Pronex, I think the link is in the chat. So please take advantage of that. And as you can see, it is a resource that is grounded in true care for people. Then thank you all for joining us tonight. And for you all that are watching this on a review, thank you for spending time with us. Thanks for being a part of this community. We appreciate you, each of you. And I sincerely hope that we all get to see each other May 14th through the 17th at the Power of the Plate conference. Do not miss it this year. As Deepa said, this is a rare opportunity for us to get together and be normal, to share a beautiful plate of food, to meet and talk, collaborate. And you have the privilege of meeting people like Deepa that you may not encounter at other conferences. So please join us, Power of the Plate conference on plantricianproject.org. We hope to see you. Thank you, everybody. Deepa, and thanks to my team, Jill, Brooke on the backside. We appreciate all of you. God bless. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Deepa.
Thank you.